Hello everyone. There is another kazimi forming in the sky, which I'm going to show you in a minute. It's going to be a Sun Astraea kazimi on the 28th of January. And although this little configuration is not going to close, unfortunately, so it's not going to be turned into a trapeze, because the Chiron-Uranus portion is not closing it, because the semi-sextile is not yet there. Although the Chiron-Uranus semi-sextile was one of the minor aspects, minor karmic astrological aspects of last year. And as you can see, this year, it will be in and out of orb as well. Let's take a look at the aspects and what this little configuration means. First of all, the Sun Astraea kazimi, and as you may remember, kazimi means to be in the heart of the sun. So when the one celestial object becomes very, very close to the sun, 17 minutes of an arc, and it means to be at the heart of the sun. And in this case, the sun infuses the celestial objects with energy and consciousness, and greatly strengthens its impact. Astraea is the fifth of the asteroids, and it denotes the karma breaker, and as an archetype, the karma breaker or the destiny changer. So the Sun Astraea kazimi on the 28th means that you will be able to break all embedded karma with the strength of the sun, especially when you have placements around the 9th, 10th, 11th degree of anything really, but mainly air and fire signs. At the moment, Uranus is coming up to a fixed square with the conjunction. Actually, the sun will be exactly in a square position with Uranus on the upcoming new moon, the Aquarius New Moon on the 1st of February, which I'm going to look at it in detail in a couple of days. And so this is a fixed square, and this describes how we really hate what's going on in the world at the moment. We hate the fact that there are lockdowns and booster jabs and passports, what do you call them? The passports and all kinds of nonsense, really. And the people everywhere say this has been too much, it's enough, please let us go. This is ridiculous, and it's really, truly ridiculous. So the Uranus-Sun square is always about revolt, and it's always about how we can actually revolt against all kinds of authority. The sun, of course, represents authority as well. And the other square in this little configuration is the Chiron-Venus square, which is not yet exact, because Venus is still at 12 degrees in Capricorn retrograding, and Chiron is at 9 degrees Aries. But the Vesta portion of the Venus-Vesta conjunction is already closing the square nicely and tightly. Vesta is the focusing principle, or the high priestess as the archetype, and Venus-Vesta denotes focusing on our well-being, our harmony, our love life, our finances, but it's squared by Chiron, the centaur of karmic wounds, showing us that we've just really had enough. We are too wounded. We don't want this whole thing. We are focusing on how to make our position better, how to earn more money, how to create more harmony. And we don't want to deal with the nonsense. Venus is hardly ever retrograde. Whenever you see a retrograde Venus in a natal chart, it denotes a very serious pain related to either self-worth or love as a phenomenon or as a feeling, or the physical body, especially the sexual organs, and also about harmony creating faculties. And the square from Chiron amplifies this situation. And then you have a triple conjunction between Pluto, retrograde Mercury, and Juno. And this again describes the situation we are in. Pluto is the powers that be, of course, the power and transformation, but it's usually the real power behind the apparent power in the world. So the financial oligarchs and those who really turn us around and want to put us into situations that we don't want. Mercury retrograde means that we need to look inside for answers. And Juno, of course, besides the first lady and besides the official spouse, also denotes contracts, all sorts of contracts. And this Pluto-Juno retrograde Mercury describes the situation we have in the Ukraine. And I just don't understand why is this the issue for the United States. You guys have nothing to do there, okay? We Europeans can deal with our problems. Thank you. We don't want your troops. We don't want your interfering. Stop meddling into our affairs and try to look at your own affairs in your own country, in your own nation. You have plenty of problems. Just leave us alone. But anyhow, so this is a triple conjunction, and this triple conjunction makes all sorts of aspects to the rest of the participants of this configuration. And I put here the aspect patterns for you to see that there are many parallels as well. The Sun, Mercury, and retrograde Venus are all in parallel to each other. So is Astraea, parallel to Mercury and Venus. So these really are resonating together. Vesta is parallel to Pluto, so there's no apparent aspect between Pluto and Vesta, but there's a parallel, which means that you can focus on the hidden power. And there are a couple of septiles, not septiles, biseptiles. A septile is 1/7 of the circle. It's 51 degrees and 27 minutes. So it's really something that you won't be able to see by the naked eye. You won't be able to calculate at a first glance. You need a computer for it to calculate. The septile itself denotes all sorts of esoteric knowledge and transcendental energies, and biseptile is double it. So you have a biseptile between Mercury and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, so it gives us flashes of inspiration and understanding. Uranus-Pluto is, of course, again, generational. So here we have the Uranus-Pluto next placement after the square. There was a Uranus-Pluto square between 2011 and early 2016. We had the square 7 times. I kept telling everyone that by the time the 7th square is separating, we won't be able to recognize our word. And this is exactly what happened. With the biseptile, now we have the chance to look at the issue from a transcendental point of view, from a higher dimensional point of view or viewpoint. We have also a Juno-Uranus biseptile. And then there are a couple of quintiles, and quintiles denote ingeniousness. We have a quintile between Chiron and Mercury, how to heal karmic wounds, what sort of communication to use it. We have a Pluto-Chiron quintile, which is by definition one of the healing aspects, healing through transformation, and the Chiron-Juno quintile, so we can actually, using ingeniousness, somehow resolve the issues about contracts and covenants, let's put it this way. And the best aspect, of course, of this little configuration is the Uranus-Venus trine. And that gives us hope that we can actually change our harmony and money creating potentials. And the Chiron Sun sextile, which is again a very strong healing power. So this is what we have. Unfortunately, this little thing is not going to become a trapeze, which would be brilliant by using the 2 squares, dissolving the 2 squares in a trapeze that has a trine as its base and a sextile as its stage, let's put it this way. But we won't be able to, because it's not yet the semi-sextile between Chiron and Uranus is not yet there. Now let's take a look at the transcendental celestial objects that are helping us understand, again, the deeper layers of the space-time moment. And again, this is on the 28th of January, practically 3 days before the Aquarius New Moon, which is also going to be interesting. By then, the Sun-Uranus square will be a lot tighter. So here, this is what we have. On the Sun-Astraea conjunction, we have Hermes and Merlin, two asteroids that are helping us all sorts of magical potentials. Hermes, which is of course a counterpart of the Greek counterpart of Mercury, of Roman Mercury, and the same archetype really, but at the same time, Hermes is also linked to alchemy and magic, because the alchemists used to pray to Hermes for clear thought, because all kinds of magical processes need a clear aim and clear thoughts. And this is what we are provided here by Hermes. Merlin himself is the magician, the sorcerer. And the triple conjunction of Pluto, retrograde Mercury, and Juno has four asteroids and one centaur. We are going to start with the centaur. Amicus is a very brave centaur who is in a fight, and he loses his weapon, and so he dashes into a nearby sanctuary and grabs a candelabra and starts fighting with the candelabra. And Amicus denotes either abilities or karmic wounds related to the fact or the ability to use profane things together with sacred objects. So you use a sacred objects to win in a profane situation. That's what it denotes. And the rest of the celestial objects are all asteroids. Sekhmet or Sekhmet is, of course, the Egyptian sun goddess, the lion goddess representing the sun. Helio is another sun archetype. So it's actually the two sun or archetypes are linked to Pluto, greatly strengthening and giving it energy. And then you have Sphinx, which represents secrets, and Nemesis, who was the goddess of retribution. She was the one who retributed hubris, which was committed against the gods when anyone wanted to revolt against their wish or their decree. And the Venus-Vesta conjunction has Arachne, and actually Arachne is one of the hubris asteroids. Arachne is a beautiful girl who is creating wonderful tapestries, but she rejects thanking it to Pallas Athena, who is the goddess of weaving as well, because she says that she inherited her abilities and she practiced it to perfection. And so Pallas Athena punishes her by turning her into a huge spider. And this is the name Arachne. You can recognize it in arachnophobia, and someone is totally afraid of spiders. And then Uranus is conjunct Abundancia, and Abundancia is abundance. Of course, she's the goddess of abundance, indicating that this whole situation is abundant with potentials, but also abundance. Abundancia is she's the goddess of abundance. The Uranus-Venus square, trine, is fulfilled in this case. So you can actually turn the retrograde Venus, not just to stabilize your own harmony and harmony creating potentials, but to create abundance by changing your habits, by changing your views on either your own spending abilities or your own harmony creating abilities. So this is it for the 28th. Thank you for listening. And I will probably look at the Aquarius New Moon and will let you know what I see. Thank you. Bye.